Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome to this edition of the Phish of the Week. This week we're going to take a look at a couple of phishing emails that hit our customers. And this week we're actually going to look at emails that have been targeting administrators at companies. So this first email that we're looking at here is actually an email pretending to be from Microsoft or Office 365, saying that a change in the configuration has occurred. This is actually warning the administrator that a forwarding rule has been set up, and this is actually a typical tactic that attackers are doing, to redirect mail out of mailboxes. The interesting thing about here is that this attack being targeted at the email admin, right? If you follow that link, it actually takes you to a credential harvester. So it's very interesting that they're slightly changing their tactics here. Instead of going directly after the users, they're going straight after the admins. Here's another attack as well that is also targeted at admins, and here it's an email impersonating AWS, saying that your Whois data is about to expire, which in a way doesn't quite make sense, but again, an attempt here by the attackers to force a certain level of urgency towards these admins, because any disruption there could impact business. So here as well, if we follow the link, it's actually pointing us at some bogus link that's not even AWS related or even related to any registrar. The lucky part of this email here is that the attacker got a little sloppy. The script that they used to generate the URL broke somewhere and actually created an invalid URL. So how do these campaigns work? Well, one, as I mentioned, IT infrastructure is extremely important, right? So every admin out there is very sensitive about disruption in the infrastructure. And also, when we do inspect where these URLs take you, they, as usual, they perform a whole bunch of different redirections before landing on the actual credential harvester, another tactic used to defeat technologies today that just looks at direct URLs. And also, the URLs that do take you to a credential harvester often have certificate issued by Let's Encrypt, again making those pages look legitimate or secured through HTTPS. So why do these work, right? So as I mentioned, right, anything that impacts the infrastructure, is important, right? So it creates this sense of urgency on an action that needs to be done. So those admins, definitely want to make sure they keep uptime around the infrastructures that they provide. And also, nobody likes to be breached. So like the first example that we looked at, there's a notification about a rule being inserted. So again, this would be an indication of a breach. So the admin want to take action there. And finally, actually on the first sample that I provided earlier, this customer had some technology enabled to do URL rewrite. And unfortunately, that is actually pretty dangerous because it creates a false sense of security. So if you can't detect these URLs straight up, it's actually, you may be tempted to click on them, hoping that that second line of defense catches them. And if that's not up to date, will actually expose yourself to a potential breach itself. So how do we get ahead of these phishing campaigns? At Area 1 here, we do a lot of proactive detections. We build a lot of models that allows us to detect those campaigns as they're being set up by attackers. And then we translate this information into advanced technologies. So the technologies allow us to go beyond detecting email authentication. As we've often seen, a lot of these campaigns will use trusted infrastructure to send those email outs. And anything that has to do around SPF, DKIM, DMARC easily gets defeated. So we do comprehensive message analysis. So we look at not only the authentication component of it, as I just mentioned, but also look at the content of these emails. Where do these URLs take you? Are they shortened? Are they redirecting you around? So we really look for the final destination, and then from there we provide an assessment on the threat. On both of these instances that I spoke about earlier, those two brands, both Amazon and O365, were impersonated. So we have great technology to detect those impersonations. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, we have the ability to decode rewritten URLs such that we can actually identify that final destination, again, to provide a proper assessment on the threat there. So hopefully this session was useful for you guys. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can visit us at www.area1security.com, or you can email us at demo@area1security.com. Thank you. Have a great day.